Coming up next, Universal Welterweight Champion Sugar Ray Leonard defends his crown against Lightnin Bruce Finch. See it live on World Championship Boxing.
This is HBO.
Reno, Nevada plays host to the most celebrated athlete in the world, Sugar Ray Leonard. On September 16th, Sugar Ray, behind on all three scorecards, scored a courageous knockout of Thomas Hearns to claim the undisputed welterweight title. But now, third-ranked WBC contender Bruce Finch would love to spoil the first defense of everyone's champion, Sugar Ray Leonard. Welterweight champion Sugar Ray Leonard defends his crown against the third-ranked WBC contender, Bruce Finch. Live from the Centennial Coliseum in Reno, Nevada, HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing. The main event, the undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard, defends his crown against the number 3 WBC contender, Bruce Finch. Hello, it's been 72 years since the last one.
Imagine this scenario if you can. Jerry Cooney defeats Larry Holmes for the heavyweight championship. Shortly thereafter, James Baldwin, one of America's leading writers, a black man, urges Muhammad Ali to come out of retirement, whip his tired old fat body into shape, to fight Cooney and restore the heavyweight championship to the black race for its greater glory. Well, something like that is exactly what happened here in Reno 72 years ago.
The champion in 1910 was Jack Johnson, the first black to hold the title. It was a time, in Ralph Ellison's memorable phrase, when most blacks were invisible. Johnson's flamboyant lifestyle stirred up racial tensions. Jack London, one of the most famous writers of his day, pleaded with former champion James Jeffries, now weighing 320 pounds, to come out of retirement and win back the title for the white race. Jeffries earned the now infamous nickname, the Great White Hope. In 6 months, he lost 90 pounds. Promoter Tex Rickett guaranteed Johnson an astronomical $120,000, and he built a 20,000-seat stadium in Reno, remembered by Andy Ganaccio.
Well, the day before the fight was quite excitement. Everybody in Reno, I think, were talking about. And we all looked for a very big going, which turned out to be a good fight. And naturally, everybody was rooting for the white man. They felt as though that he's going to be the winner, including myself.
July 4th, 1910, Jack Johnson and James Jeffries scheduled to fight 45 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world. There were 3,000 requests for press credentials, 2,000 of them filled. Jeffries was the favorite, but by the 15th round, the Great White Hope was bloody and hopeless. He never had a chance.
On the 15th round, Jeffrey had to be knocked out, and that was it. When you see the thing happen not in your favor, you sort of you feel like going home from the funeral parlor.
The heavyweight champion was then widely regarded as the greatest athlete in the world, an important symbolic title. The loss of this title was threatening to many white people.
After the fight, there was violence and in a few cases riots around the country. And Congress went on to pass an act that forbid the interstate transfer of fight films. That act wasn't abrogated until 1934. And it wasn't until a few years after that that a black man was permitted to fight again for the heavyweight championship. Joe Louis.
Now, 72 years after the first battle of the century, Reno, Nevada is alive again, anticipating its second title fight. And this one features a black man who is the most popular athlete in America.
I think that
people in all races and all aspects of life are able to accept me. Why, I don't know. If I knew, I'll bottle it and I'll make millions.
Sugar Ray Leonard is as far from being a controversial hero as Johnson was close to it. He abides by all the unwritten but nevertheless powerful rules of athletic herohood. Next month, HBO Sports will give you the full story of the life of Jack Johnson on our continuing series, Boxing's Best.
Well, that was 72 years ago, and here tonight, another championship fight in the city of Reno, Nevada. Bruce Finch, the upstart, against the champion, Sugar Ray Leonard. And Larry, I think it's safe to say, but what about Sugar Ray Leonard, the man? And even more than that, what about Sugar Ray Leonard, the entity? Success and Ray Leonard are synonymous.
The WBC welterweight champion, Sugar Ray Leonard. Introducing Thomas, the Motor City Cobra, Hearns. 15 rounds of boxing.
Got 9 minutes. You're blowing it now, son. You're blowing it. Okay, put the ices back.
Come off that stool. Just wanted to get at him because it was for me. It was for Ray.
Good right hand by Leonard. That hurt. Hearns has to tie him up or something. Now is going for the whole boat. Heading to the top there. He's giving everything he's got. Hearns starts down the crash and now goes down through the rope.
I wanted my guy to win those last 2 rounds. You can't keep scoring a corner, but I don't like it to be that close.
Hearns is very weak, though. He's really weak. He's hurting. Trying to go downstairs this way, Leonard. Hearns just trying to hang on here. Left hand sends Hearns back against the ropes again. And that's all. It's over. And Ray Leonard is the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. Sugar Ray Leonard has become the most glorified athlete in the world of sports. He is everywhere. President Reagan greeted the new undisputed welterweight champion on Sugar Ray Leonard Day in Washington, D.C. And on January 4th, Palmer Park dedicated the new Sugar Ray Leonard Gymnasium in his honor. Palmer Park is home for Ray Leonard, and it is a welcome sight for a well-traveled national monument.
I have to say that there is a negative end of it. Absentee from my family, from Juanita and from little Ray. He hasn't been home, I don't think, for more than 3 or 4 days at a stretch since the Hearns fight.
It's a lot out there to be done. It's a lot he has to do, but I think at this point in time, our life matters more than all that.
And it was because of those sentiments that Ray felt it was necessary to bring little Ray with him when he arrived for his celebrated welcome in Reno, Nevada.
I just miss him so much because I go away and I come back and something's changed about him. You can only go around once with a kid because next thing you know, he'll be asking for my keys to drive my car unless he have his own.
But for now, it is Ray Leonard who drives himself toward the most lucrative heights in boxing history. He has grossed approximately $40 million in his last 2 years in the ring, and while he has collected the cash, we have been treated to one memory after another. It was November 30th of 1979 when Sugar Ray Leonard took the WBC welterweight title from Wilfred Benitez. The 23-year-old champion earned $1 million in this, his 26th professional fight. Then, after losing his title to Roberto Duran, they tangled in what is now simply referred to as no mas. Ray had avenged the earlier loss by humiliating the Hands of Stone, forcing one of the legends of the fight game to quit. And then there was the one for the record books. September 16th, 1981 may be remembered in years to come as the date when 2 of the most gifted welterweights in history met in the same ring. Thomas Hearns and the new undisputed champion, Sugar Ray Leonard.
I think that I've made my mark pretty much in history. Back to back. I fought Benitez, Kaluli, Duran twice, and then Tommy Hearns. I don't think there's a fighter that really did something like that. For people to say pound for pound he was the best during his era, he pretty much has to fight everybody that's available at that time, everybody in the top 10. I think I'm pretty much making history without really knowing it. But I'm a modest guy, I will not speak about it.
It seems the only obstacle to Ray Leonard's modest claim as the greatest is middleweight champion Marvin Hagler. That fight may not happen until 1983. But this is now, and tonight Sugar Ray Leonard must face this man, the third-ranked WBC contender, Bruce Finch.
You don't take nobody cheap. They're the most dangerous kind of guys because you cannot reach the same emotional peak you have when you fought a Tommy Hearns, when you fight a Bruce Finch. You can't have that letdown. You can't allow for the letdown. But thank God Ray trains hard. He's in great shape, and that's the beauty of it.
Bruce Finch, here you have an opportunity to fight for the world, undisputed. I mean, welterweight championship of the world. Again, you will fight for the title. You won't win it. See you in the ring, pal.
Words of warning versus the other half of the performance of which you spoke, Larry. He is a guy who didn't burst upon the scene, but rather crept upon it rather quietly. And tonight, a big payday for him. A 27-year-old contender living in Las Vegas has made his way to Reno for a shot at the undisputed welterweight title. To many, he is a long shot, and Bruce Finch will admit he is not a household name. But after 9 years in the ring as a professional, it seems likely that Bruce Finch will make the most of his title shot.
Now this is the greatest opportunity of his life. He's aware of that. I think the people should be very, very cautious judging a fighter before they've seen him in the ring.
Surely if Bruce Finch is judged by his third-round knockout at the hands of Thomas Hearns back in 1978, then the verdict is unfavorable. But he did fight on just 10 days' notice, and he fought without a trainer.
I fought him in his hometown, and I didn't know too much about him at the time. I could look back at the mistakes that I made against Thomas Hearns and find out that the mistakes that I did make, I can correct them now since I got different people that's working with me.
I really don't think that the Thomas Hearns debacle, so to speak, was really anything to be concerned about. I think that if Bruce Finch fought Thomas Hearns today, that we would see a completely different fight.
It's possible. Bruce has won all 11 of his fights since Hearns 3 years ago, including this convincing 8th-round TKO of Zeferino Gonzalez, who had gone 10 rounds with Roberto Duran.
I was very strong for that fight. I just kept the pressure on him, and that took everything away from me. That is something that Duran didn't do.
Speedy Gonzalez represented a step up as far as I was concerned. And I think every fight that I have selected for Bruce, since we have handled Bruce, has been a step up.
The next step was a shot at the North American welterweight title against Pepe Dominguez. After 10 brutal rounds, Bruce Finch had taken his crown.
And I was just beating so bad that they just stopped me to come in and stop the fight. I was underdog for that fight, but I did what I had to do. I took the title from him, and I'm very proud of myself.
And now this public relations man from a Las Vegas casino hotel is gambling on a proud future. Tonight he is hoping to pull a major upset in his quest for the welterweight title. And his slot machine keeps showing the same combination. Sugar Ray Leonard.
When I get in the ring, I would look at Sugar Ray as another opponent. So as far as the reporters and everything want to know who am I, all they got to do is keep their eye on Bruce Finch. Watch him closely. They will see who I am.
No matter who the champion is, he's a human being just like the fighter he's fighting. And if the champion is not completely prepared mentally and physically for the fight, he can be defeated by any contender. And we just happen to think that Bruce Finch is the best.
I'm going to beat him, it's in my mind, and keep it there. I'm coming, Sugar Ray, I'm coming. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Come for you, Bruce Finch, the next world undisputed welterweight champion.
And Wayne Ford
Well, Bruce Finch doesn't have to come too far. It is only a walk of maybe 100 yards, and he is prepared to make that walk into the ring now to take on the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, a guy he says he can't wait to get in the ring with. So here is Finch making his way out of his dressing room now and down toward the ring here in Reno, Nevada. Crowd getting its first glimpse of the challenger. And I think it's interesting that the challenger is getting an awful lot of support from the crowd here in Reno, which, as we mentioned, has literally adopted Sugar Ray Leonard. Finch looking rather calm right now as he makes his way down toward the ring. Crowd now just starting to sense his presence. And it's almost a case of polite applause, if you will, for Bruce Finch. Finch, a guy who has not lost a fight in 3 years, remember. Following that knockout by Tommy Hearns, that he says if he had to do it over again, he and his people, of course, say the results would be very different. So Finch now with very stern-faced handlers, and Finch himself, very quiet young man. He is not one to speak out a great deal. He is now on his way into the ring. He, of course, the challenger, historically the first man in the ring, and it is not an unusual ploy for the champion to leave him there for a little while and let him think about what's going to happen. Here's Bruce Finch. You look at the record of Bruce Finch, as we mentioned, 33 wins. He's lost 3 fights. He has a draw and has knocked out 27 of his opponents. But, Larry, that sometimes is a misleading number.
We don't know who the opponents were, of course, and if it had been 34-0, you still don't know when you go up against a world-class and really what everyone is coming to recognize as a great fighter in Sugar Ray Leonard.
Now, we mentioned that Ray Leonard might be on the top of his game. He is a guy who just seems to be getting better with every outing, and even against a guy like Bruce Finch, who he is supposed to beat, as Finch awaits the presence of Ray Leonard. Angelo Dundee, the first one out, and there is Ray Leonard looking very calm as usual. Lou Duva, one of the promoters of this fight, leading his way down. And again, the crowd just starting to come alive with the thought that the champion, Sugar Ray Leonard, who has taken this town, as he has every town that he visits, by storm. Larry Merchant's point about if he were to fight the mayor of Reno, Sugar Ray Leonard would be the public choice. He has a quiet, confident kind of look, and that is the kind of look he has in every fight that he fights. He is all business at a juncture like this. There's no question about it. Not quite out into the arena yet, and that's why the crowd is not built to the pitch that I'm sure you will hear them as soon as he makes this move here, and then about another 20 yards before he is actually in to the Centennial Coliseum here. Sugar Ray surrounded by the people who have been with him for the whole route. Very few people change. Now you can hear the crowd start to see him, get their first glimpse of him here. He has been very much a factor in this city, having been here for a couple of weeks, and he has been very present. He has been everywhere. Meanwhile, Bruce Finch in the middle of the ring, just awaiting him, actually kind of ignoring him and ignoring everything around him. Crowd not quite as electric as I thought it might be. So much anticipation for this fight in Reno. And Leonard now coming down toward the ring. Angelo Dundee will part the ropes to let him in. And here is Ray Leonard smiling at the crowd. And he will be all business when he gets in that 19 by 7-inch square ring. Bows to the crowd. We'll see if there are any psychological games to be played here, Larry.
Interesting that he's wearing a very simple black robe with the simple name on the back, Leonard. Comes from the old story, when you have the story, just tell it. When you don't, you got to write it.
And he goes over and shakes the hand of Bruce Finch. No staring, no show business here, just simply business. There's Juanita Leonard, Sugar Ray's wife. She, too, has been very calm, and that is not characteristic of Juanita prior to a fight of her husband, Ray's. Ray Jr. is also in the crowd here. In fact, the entire Leonard family. And there is Ray Leonard Jr. And you can see he's ready for action himself. That is the definitive chip off the block right there.
Well, Bruce Finch has a son here also, a 3-year-old son, Marco.
Here's the tail of the tape. Quite comparable, actually. Finch, 2 years the senior of Sugar Ray Leonard. Leonard has an 1.5 inch height advantage and a 1.25 pound weight advantage. 1.75 pounds. Make that 3/4. I never was very good at math. The reach advantage goes to Finch. And again, I can't really think that that would be a great factor. So that is pretty much the tail of the tape. They have fought 4 people of the same people, four different folks. And, of course, you can see the results.
That's right. Sugar Ray Leonard has knocked out the three men who have stopped Finch. But we should point out again, without making excuses for Finch, who he is, that he was an opponent in those days, someone who was picked out to make someone look good, someone who was not training regularly or fighting regularly.
All right, nothing left to do but to get to it. Let's go to the ring announcer, the inevitable Jimmy Lennon, for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go for the big showdown in Reno. 15 rounds of boxing for the undisputed welterweight boxing championship of the world. Presenting to you on my right, out of the red corner, the challenger wearing white trunks with a blue trim, formerly of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. At 145¼ pounds, 24 wins by knockout in his 30 great wins, the North American Boxing Federation welterweight champion, rated number 3 contender in the world, here is Lightnin Bruce Finch.
So Finch does have some crowd support here in Reno.
Well, fans, his opponent out of the red corner wearing black trunks with a gold stripe, and he really needing no introduction the world over, hailing from Palmer Park, Maryland, weighing in at a trim and ready, even 146 pounds, 22 great knockouts and 31 sensational wins. Here, the undisputed world's welterweight boxing champion, the classy Sugar Ray Leonard. Referee now giving instructions, Mills Lane.
Okay, few seconds. I want you to go light on the grease, okay? Light on the grease. Now, you've had your instruction. Any question from Mr. Finch's corner? Any question from Mr. Leonard's corner? Shake hands. Let's get it on, boys.
Well, Mills Lane said it all. Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
I look, Barry, for Ray Leonard to try some body punching early in the fight. He's been working on that a great deal in his training. Let's see if he can put it to effective use.
Ready here? Ready? All right.
Well, Ray looks very calm, and Bruce Finch, the challenger, on his behalf, also looking very calm. Round 1, 15 rounds. It's for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world in Reno, Nevada. First time in 72 years. Finch a lunging right hand. First punch of the fight, harmless. Finch wears the white trunks, blue trim, and Sugar Ray Leonard wearing the black trunks with the gold trim. Sugar Ray starts off with his back to the ropes here against Finch, and almost a let's see what you got, kid, kind of attitude. Finch does get a couple of punches through. Ray still seems to be kind of shaking out the cobwebs here. Finch is the number 3 ranked contender, remember. He is not somebody that is found under a rock, and in fact has really only been fighting on a full-time basis for about the past 3 years.
Finch has a reputation more as a stinging puncher rather than a heavy puncher. We've seen Leonard knock people out with one punch.
Well, Davey Boy Green will attest to that. That is the thing about Ray Leonard. A left hand, left hook, did score on the cheek of Sugar Ray Leonard, did not do any damage.
This is a little uncharacteristic of Leonard, even if he's sizing up his opponent. In most fights I've seen him in, he's tried to win almost every round of every fight.
Did score with the right hand to the side
every
of the head.
minute of every round, that is.
Leonard looking sharp here in the first round, although not throwing a lot of punches. And Finch, to his credit, has not missed a great deal either. Leonard does look all business. Right to the head and a right to the body by Finch. He does have quick hands, and that is one of the things that people say about him. In fact, people say that he does a lot of the things that Leonard does. He just does not do them quite as well as Leonard. But Leonard is the fighter that comes along once a decade, if that. Right hand again, scoring on the top of the head of Finch. Thrown by Leonard. Another right hand. That might have been the best punch of the fight. Finch does not take a backward step, however. And Finch is pretty much throwing caution to the wind. He has not been on his bicycle. This is not Larry Bonds that Sugar Ray Leonard is fighting. Winding down to the end of the first round. That round was Bruce Finch's. Ray Leonard was not doing much business, just trying to size him up. Let's see what we can hear.
Don't let him slide in on you, Ray. Don't lay on the ropes at all, but he butted you already on top of your head. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, son. Don't take no game. Let your shots go.
Make it be your
outside, inside.
Make it so simple. Make it be your pace. Your pace. You get it? Don't let him leave pace on you like that. He's all stiff. This one you should nail. Go downstairs.
You're going his pace. Pick it up. Go your thing because this kid will fall apart. Go your own thing.
When they rub Ray Leonard down, it's almost like they're polishing a diamond.
David, get some of that water up.
And in fact, they are. Well, I think Angela Dundee told you everything certainly that we can tell you between rounds. Don't get on the ropes. He says he butted you on top of the head one time. Don't take any chances with this guy. Jenks Morton, his other trainer, saying the man is stiff. Go downstairs now. That right hand to the ribs definitely smarts. Strange lack of passion and excitement in the crowd here. That's very true, especially for a fight that has been anticipated like this one has. I guess after 72 years, they're out of practice. Not to mention out of breath. Finch forcing the action again, but unable to really score with anything substantial on Sugar Ray Leonard. Leonard, as his corner has said, is going downstairs here in round two. Counter punch by Finch scored to the face of Sugar Ray Leonard. And Leonard staying off the ropes. Left hand, and another left hand, and that one could have stunned Sugar Ray. And the crowd comes alive for maybe the first time tonight on behalf of the challenger, Bruce Finch.
Punch away free. Come on, the other two hands are free.
Not really a serious punch, but nonetheless a punch that I'm sure stung. And another left hand, and a right hand to the top of the head, almost a rabbit punch. And Leonard is doing what his corner told him don't do, and that is get off the ropes. There's a right hand, and Finch is staggered. So right back. Now Ray had a chance that time, I think, to follow up. Decided not to. Another right hand, and there is a booming right hand that puts Bruce Finch down. And I want to tell you, that brought the crowd alive.
6, 7, 8, 9, okay?
Finch is up to the count of 9. And Leonard is back at him, and Leonard is not fooling around with this guy. Finch goes down again at the ankles of Sugar Ray Leonard. And may not make it up this time. Bleeding inside the mouth.
4, 6, 7.
He is up but wobbling. Says, yes, I'm okay.
It's about 25 seconds left in the round. We'll see if he can weather this.
And another right hand sends him back against the ropes. Sugar Ray Leonard is not waiting. Finch bails out of there. It was a right hand with Leonard back to the ropes that caused the first amount of damage. 5 seconds remaining in the round.
Finch is still very much hurt. He's just hanging on.
The legs are like rubber, but he is doing the right thing, and he does get through the round. That was was a booming right hand. Ray actually hit him with 3 right hands and a left hand. The right hand that moved him back off the ropes. And then after that, 3 more punches, with the right hand being the biggest.
We will have the knockdown here momentarily. It was preceded by a good body punch, and Leonard was almost sizing him up like a piece of meat that he was waiting to see how he could cut him down. Caught a right, and there is the right back. Earlier, I spoke about how the clarity with which he's fighting. Here's another view of that punch, right there.
Take him south. Come on, get the water up. Get that water up here.
By that clarity, I mean that even when a fighter is very much on top of him, he sees everything coming and he has the quickness to deal with it, as you saw there.
This is the 3rd round. Bruce Finch's legs will tell the story here, and they are still a little bit wobbly. I think Finch might have possibly hurt Leonard a little bit, and Sugar Ray said, enough of this. Finch scores with the right hand, but it is a marshmallow right hand. And Leonard comes back with a left jab, and another. And a right hand again, and the knees buckle on Bruce Finch. A left hand to the head by Leonard.
I thought there for a moment Leonard hit him with a terrible hard right hand, and I think he expected Finch to just fall when he backed away, and he was a little surprised that he didn't. And so am I.
Leonard's punches have been very crisp, very crisp. He has not wasted any punches. He does not want to do that. Larry Merchant has talked time and again about the eyes of Sugar Ray Leonard, and you can see a good study of it right here. Watch how intently he watches his man. He misses nothing that goes on in the ring.
Finch is supposed to have the capability to move, which he should be doing some of, but he's staying right inside of Leonard. That's why we probably will have a much shorter fight than we would have against someone like a Larry Bonds, who was just trying to live in there as long as he could.
Finch is holding on and is on rubber legs. There is no question about that. But he has not taken a backward step. There's a right hand again to the side of the head, but Finch stays up. And another right hand, and a left hand sends it backwards, and the legs are gone on Bruce Finch. Just trying to get some air, get some breath.
8, 9.
It's all over. It is all over, and wisely so. Mills Lane calls a halt to things here in the 3rd round, and I don't think you can question that at all. The man was hurt, and in fact, he got a couple of extra seconds on that knockdown simply because Sugar Ray did not go to the farthest neutral corner. So Sugar Ray Leonard is the winner by a technical knockout here in the 3rd round. And it was very impressive regardless of the competition. Sugar Ray Leonard is just getting better with every fight. It's just that simple. Let's take another look at the end of the fight. That left hand just buckled the knees. And you can see, look at the knees of Bruce Finch. He just had nothing left at that point, and almost any other punch would have put him down. In fact, Ray did not really hit him with a solid punch after that left hook. Buckled the knees. Let's take another look at it. Watch the left hook. The right hand set him up, and the left hand brought him back. You didn't quite see it because it was behind you, and you can see the dance that Bruce Finch is doing at that time. He was out at that juncture. Interesting shot here. This is from up in the rafters of Centennial Coliseum. It was the right hand, really, that did do most damage, not so much the left, but there is the left, and that was the final punch. Sugar Ray taking a step back from it and really just waiting for Bruce Finch to fall. The legs are the first to go, and they went on Bruce Finch. And after that, it was merely a question of how long it took the challenger to fall down. Sugar Ray did not really hit him with a solid punch after that. It was the right hand that set him up, a left hand coming back behind it. And you can see Sugar Ray Leonard, if he's going to be on television, he's going to look good, folks.
From here, from Reno.
So he retains his undisputed possession of the welterweight title. And right now, let's go up to Jimmy Lennon for the official decision. Jimmy?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of the knockout. 1 minute and 50 seconds in round number 3. Referee in charge, Mills Lane, stopping the bout. The winner by way of knockout, remaining the undisputed welterweight boxing champion of the world, Sugar Ray Leonard.
And really, there was never a question about it, almost from midway through the 1st round. Bruce Finch had to go after his man. There was really no other way. He could not do what mistakes Larry Bonds did in his encounter with Sugar Ray at Syracuse. He tried to backpedal, tried to stay away from him, and then it was only a question of time until Sugar Ray Leonard caught up with him. And now, let's go up to Larry Merchant right now. Larry Merchant is going to be with Sugar Ray Leonard in just a moment. I'll hold it here for just a second until we get a camera around to talk with the winner, Sugar Ray Leonard, still the welterweight champion of the world. There really was never a doubt about it. Once that right hand in the second round was the one, Leonard had his back to the ropes, jumped off of the right hand, and from that point on it was downhill for Bruce Finch. Let's go to Larry Merchant with the winner.
Ray, you've done a lot of color commentary on boxing. Would you give us your commentary on this fight?
Well, I tell you, Larry, I came into the ring. I was a little cold, although I warmed up quite well in the back. I came out just a little too cold. It took me about a round or two really to warm up. Bruce, quite naturally, I knew he would come and try to take control early. I had to fight him against the ropes a couple of times to pretty much loosen myself up, and that was the case. I knew fully well he was vulnerable for a left hook, and I set him up for it.
How did you know that he was vulnerable for a left hook?
Well, he kept dropping his hands, and he would throw punches, and they were very stiff punches, and I would go to the body to make him drop his hands even further.
Let's take a look at the knockout here in 1 second. Okay, would you describe it for us, Ray?
Well, here I came across with the overhand right. You know, normally I go to the body. That left uppercut to the chin dazed him. I knew I had him in trouble, so it was pretty much a waiting process. And here, Mills Lane stepped in.
Oh, all right, in one moment we're going to take a look right here at the knockdown in the second round. Describe that for us.
Well, again, I was inside, and the left uppercut that we saw earlier did a number on him.
Were you just basically toying with him until you got your opening, Ray?
Well, I knew fully well that as the rounds would progress, quite naturally I get stronger. My punches land more accurate, and I knew that Finch would come out and try to do damage early. We collided heads a couple of times, and I noticed Angelo and Jenks was yelling, watch out for the headbutts.
Did he sting you at all?
Never really stung me, although I felt his punches. Bruce Finch has the kind of punch that's very stiff. He pushes with the punch. He reminds me of one of my local guys, Warren Fortune.
Is this a good fight for you, Ray, after the epic Hearns battle, to come in against someone like this and to just try your stuff on him?
I think it's a great fight. I think it's a great mental fight, mainly because coming off such a big and impressive victory over Tommy Hearns to come down to, as boxing critics call, an insignificant fight. I fought Finch. I got up for him. I was prepared for him mentally and physically.
All right, we're going to take a look at some more action here in 1 second. Would you describe what you see?
Well, I missed there with an overhand right. It was tying up here. That left hook there and the body shots, along with the uppercuts, did damage. That left hook and the right hand put him down.
You were working on the body shots. Somehow you seem to think that you're not as good a body puncher as you should be.
Well, I know fully well I do quite a lot of damage to the body. The body shots was hurting Finch, although a lot of times he connected there. I could not really get in good body shots, although the uppercuts pretty much did a lot of damage.
Ray, thank you very, very much. This was the anticipated fight. Where do we go from here?
I really don't know. I'm going home, take a rest, and probably get back with HBO later on.
Thank you very much. We're going to go back to ringside, and we're going to have some big boxing news for you in a little while.
All right, thank you very much, Larry Merchant. Also, he works longer hours when he works for HBO. That's another factor. So Sugar Ray Leonard is the winner, and, you know, I think every sports fan now is interested in the future of Sugar Ray Leonard. We're all anxiously awaiting the next multi-million-dollar spectacle, and there are all kinds. Larry Merchant is also going to tell us about a little bit of news, and he's also with a guy very important to the future of Sugar Ray Leonard. Larry?
All right, first we're with Angelo Dundee. Angelo, were you at all concerned about this fella?
Well, I was, because he was awkward, converted southpaw. I was afraid of Ray laying on the ropes. In fact, we got on him, Jenks and I, when he came back. Watch his guy's head, because this guy's a bit of a goat, and he can bust you wide open.
We're going to have some replays of the knockdowns in this fight, and we'd like for you to describe them from your point of view as a trainer and a boxing man, how you see it.
Well, the way I see it, Ray set these punches up because he went to the outside, he went to the inside. And Ray's devastating when he lets that left hook go, because that's his best shot. That's a shot he knocked Benitez down with, and he keeps getting better with it.
Here's the same knockdown from another angle.
He goes inside, over, then he goes inside again, and then over. See, he sets him up. And this guy didn't expect to get nailed with those kind of punches.
Just like you wrote the book. Angelo, a question about Sugar Ray's future? I am under the impression that he's really, or you're really, not that much interested in him going up to fight middleweight champion Hagler at this time.
Well, I see his body will dictate that. Ray's a welterweight very easily, no problem. Makes the weight well even, trying. He's a welterweight, pure and simple. Let everybody who wants to fight him as a welterweight come and chase him out and try to get him out of that welterweight division. When Ray's body dictates, he'll be a middleweight when his body tells me.
All right, thank you very much, Angelo. I do have some news.
All right, thank you very much, Larry Merchant. And the man on my right here is Roger Stafford. Now, we talked about what's next for Sugar Ray Leonard, and the first name you saw come up was Roger Stafford. So, Roger, let me ask you, first of all, what have you learned from tonight's fight with Bruce Finch?
Nothing really. He looked scared to death. I couldn't understand it.
How do you fight a guy like Sugar Ray Leonard? Now, we saw Larry Bonds was a guy who you might make that comparison, Bruce Finch to Larry Bonds. Bonds was on his bicycle. Finch tried to take the fight to Sugar Ray Leonard. Neither one of those things worked. How does Roger Stafford fight a guy like this?
Well, Roger Stafford's going to take the fight to him. He's going to definitely fight. It's not going to be any, pity-patting, tapping Ray.
You saw the fight that this man had against Pepino Cuevas. It was a very big win for you. I think perhaps even bigger than the fact that you did win it and it looks good in the win column is a good psychological fight for you. You know that you could beat a guy who has been in there against guys like Sugar Ray Leonard.
That's very true. I just can't wait to fight myself.
How close is it now? Is it the kind of thing that has been talked about? Is it a fight that's going to happen, in fact?
I'm pretty sure it is going to happen. But first of all, I have a fight next month, March the 2nd, against David Madrid, former Mexican champion.
Let me ask you about that. Now, that's a situation that many fighters have fallen into a trap there. You look forward to a fight against a guy like Sugar Ray Leonard, and now you're going to fight a guy who you have to figure you should beat. Do you worry about mental letdowns?
Yes, I do. I ran into that problem before. But I'm not worried about Sugar. I'm just glad I have the opportunity to fight Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm going to fight David Madrid next month. After that, I'll start thinking about Ray.
Everybody talks about fighters from the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Roger Stafford is from Philadelphia. And just to start naming names, Joe Frazier, Jimmy Young, there's been a whole bunch of guys come out of there. You come from a boxing community, to be sure.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
People say, in fact, that you have to fight so many tough fights in the gyms that fighting guys like Sugar Ray Leonard doesn't mean anything to Roger Stafford.
Very true. Very true. Philadelphia is number one for boxing time.
All right, we're going to take a look at the last round of the fight that you just saw. And, Roger, let's talk through this fight. Let's talk about some of the things that you saw, some of the things that you might or might not do. Were you in Bruce Finch's position? So this will just be the last round, the third round. And here it is right now from beginning to end. Ray Leonard, at this point, you would have to think, had the fight well in hand.
Yes, he had. Ray Leonard's very calm, he's taking his time. Bruce Finch, he can't hit at all. I don't understand it. To me, he was hitting Ray, and he hurt Ray. If you he hit him with the right hand, I guess, and he stung Ray a little bit.
Well, in fact, we said that in our call of the fight. We thought maybe Finch might have stung Ray. I don't think it really hurt him, but he might have stung him. And I kind of think that maybe that's what said to Ray, enough of this, I'm not going to fool around with this guy.
I just hope Ray come out like he did on Finch, come out on me.
You're the type of fighter, you like to dictate the tempo of the fight.
Of course. I like to get physical. That's what it's all about. I just hope he comes in the ring when he fights me, just like he came in for this fight.
Well, especially, in fact, Ray's corner, Angelo Dundee, checks scored and said, you got to stay off the ropes. You got to stay off the ropes, and yet Ray went right back to the ropes.
I hope he get on the ropes for me. That's all I can say.
Can Ray Leonard, every fighter, of course, that fights Ray Leonard figures the man can be beat. Can Ray Leonard be knocked out? Let me ask you that.
Anybody can. All it takes is one punch to turn the fight around.
So you have to, I guess, just not so much read the newspaper clippings. And if you do, then everybody is saying Ray Leonard is the greatest fighter maybe of the century. I guess you just have to avoid all of that and worry about Roger Stafford.
Exactly.
So once again, we are watching the third round of the Bruce Finch-Ray Leonard fight. And by this time, Finch is really looking the part of a beaten man.
It seems to me he didn't want to fight. From the very first round, he came out looking, down, knowing that he was going to hit the ground.
Now, right there, that's the kind of dance that any opponent likes to see his man do, because he's going at some point. And at this point, there was virtually nothing left for Bruce Finch.
He wanted to quit. You can see it in his face. His mouth wide open.
And in fact, we mentioned he actually had about a count of 12 because Sugar Ray Leonard didn't go to the neutral corner immediately, and so he had a little bit more time. But he was a beaten man by that time.
He didn't have a chance at all.
So now, again, you have got to start thinking about Sugar Ray Leonard, but even more so, you have to start thinking about a fight before that. What about the guy you're fighting?
David Madrid. I don't know anything about David Madrid. All I know is that he was a former Mexican champion.
Do you fight the same fight no matter who you're fighting? In other words, do you just say, this is the way I fight and you're going to have to fight my fight?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So what do you do with a guy like Sugar Ray Leonard? You have to force the fight, I take it.
That's it. You have to fight him. You can't. You go in there afraid of him.
If I may interject something, Michael Spinks said one thing. All you have to do is take it away from him. Whatever he has, take it away from him.
And can you do that?
Yes, I can. We'll see June or whenever the fight.
Larry Merchant, you've had an opportunity to see Roger Stafford fight, and we've been sitting here speculating how Roger Stafford would fight the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard on a night like tonight. Let me put you in Roger Stafford's shoes for just a minute, if not physically, mentally, and say, how do you do this?
Well, I know this, that Roger Stafford comes from Philadelphia, and if he has survived the gym wars of Philadelphia, then he's tough enough to fight anybody, and the Philadelphia fighter speaks for itself. We won't see a repeat of what we saw here tonight, but he will give Sugar Ray Leonard more of a test.
And that's what we just spoke about. Roger, I want to wish you the very best, not only in your next fight, but certainly in your challenge of the champion, Sugar Ray Leonard. That's Roger Stafford, and he's a guy you're going to be hearing an awful lot about in professional boxing over the next year or so. So he very likely will be the next candidate for the man you saw tonight, Sugar Ray Leonard. And there's no question about just how impressive Ray Leonard was on this night. Ray Leonard, a very decided in the second round. It was when Ray looked like he might have been in just a little bit of trouble being on the ropes that the fight really turned around just that quickly.
Come on, that water up.
This is second round action, and you'll see that it looked to me at least. Now, I know Ray, when he spoke with you, said, no, he didn't hurt me at all. I thought perhaps that Bruce Finch might have stung him a little bit here.
It's interesting how well he takes his corner's advice. He's at a stage in his career where he could plan and plot his own fights, and he's smart enough to do what he feels he can do. And when Angelo Dundee said, son, you pick up the pace, don't slow down to his pace, he did exactly what was ordered.
Well, I think Ray, in fact, by his own admission, said that he learned a lesson in the first Roberto Duran fight, where he had something to prove, that he was a tough guy, that he could go toe-to-toe with a puncher.
And, of course, I know a lot of people who thought that simply because he's Ray Leonard and this is on television and he's making some pretty good bucks for fighting an inferior opponent, that he would carry the fight for 6 rounds, 8 rounds, whatever. And carrying a fight is not a dirty term in boxing. Some very noble warriors have done that for one reason or another. But when he saw his opportunity, I guess even if he wanted to, his instincts and reflexes are so fast that he couldn't keep himself from it.
I thought right there was where Ray might have been stung by Bruce Finch, and he just said, enough of this. Now watch the right hand upcoming here, and it is a brilliant right hand.
Come on, the other 2 hands are free.
That bell, incidentally, you heard, is another fight going on now. You're looking at earlier action of the Sugar Ray Leonard-Bruce Finch fight. Now, he will come up with a right hand that just knocks Finch all the way back to the middle of the ring.
And this is what Dundee was afraid of, that somehow he'd get cut inside there.
That left hand slowed him up. And there's the right. A booming right hand. And I mean, it was a booming right hand. I think from that point on, the fight was over. 3, 4, 5. Bruce Finch was very much a beaten man right here.
8, 9, okay?
Mills Lane asking him if he's okay, and he says yes, and that, I think, was pretty much instinctual. So at this point, Bruce Finch just trying to get the cobwebs out. He managed to get through the second round here, but it was only a matter of time after that. And into the third round, he went down again on rubber legs, and you can see he's on rubber legs right here. And that was all she wrote. So Sugar Ray Leonard retaining his championship with a third round technical knockout over Bruce Finch. And Leonard not missing a lot of punches, staying sharp, getting a pretty good workout. Mills Lane tells him to break here, but you can see the way Finch went back against the ropes. And then he just held on. Wise thing to do.
No.
And that was the end of the second round. The fight, of course, went on a little bit further into the third round. But
the bigger he becomes, the more people that want at him and want to shout at him and want to have a piece of that. So there's always a new challenge. I think that professionally, after you defeat a monster like Tommy Hearns, people turn around and say, well, gosh, who are you going to fight next?
All indications are that Ray Leonard's next opponent may be this man, Roger Stafford, in the spring. Currently, Roger Stafford is ranked 4th for the WBC, and he has earned his shot by decisioning former champion Pepino Cuevas. After Stafford, the next man up may be WBC lightweight champion Alexis Arguello. Right now, there is a 12-pound weight difference, but Arguello is confident that he can step up and earn a big payday with Ray Leonard. A man who has possibly earned a rematch with Sugar Ray is Wilfred Benitez. He did so by scoring a unanimous decision over the legendary Roberto Duran. Currently, Benitez holds the WBC super welterweight crown.
I would love to fight Benitez because this time around, I feel that I'm a much more mature fighter, far more experienced, far more intelligent fighter now, a lot stronger, without question. I would love to fight Wilfredo Benitez.
The problem with that fight is that there is no public clamor for another Leonard Benitez fight. There are enough people that Leonard has not fought once that it seems silly to go back and fight people twice, someone that Ray has already beat. Where is the mystique there? Where is the interest?
One past opponent who still has mystique is Thomas Hearns. The public would love a rematch.
That fight pretty much brought the best out of Sugar Ray Leonard. I guess mainly because of the condition I was in. I would never even think about giving Tommy Hearns a rematch, although without question he deserves a rematch. It could happen. When? I couldn't say.
From a business standpoint, a second Hearns fight is great, and we could get more money than we made the first time and the rest of it. But from a boxing standpoint, whether you can fight someone who's almost 6'3" and outweighs your fighter by 10 to 15 pounds, that's a strategic question, and I'm not so sure that's one that's going to be answered in the affirmative.
And, of course, the biggest dream match of all would be with Marvin Hagler. Right now, both camps are bickering over the weight difference. It would probably be the largest purse in history. But for now, there is optimism and doubt.
First of all, he hasn't fought Marvin before, so it's not it's more of an exciting thing from Ray's standpoint. There's somebody new on the block, and I think that he's inclined to get pretty excited about things like that. It's like a new challenge. I can tell you that we have never discussed a fight between Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler since the Hampshire fight. And my phone's still here. I'm waiting for him to call. If he wants to call, we'll sit down and talk about it. I am already making plans for Ray through the rest of this year, of '82. So it would seem to me that it would be unlikely that it's going to happen this year. If it happens at all, it would probably be in the first half of '83.
I have the desire to fight Marvin Hagler. I would love it to be the middleweight championship of the world, but unfortunately, Mother Nature didn't make me out to be a bigger guy. So if we are able to reach a deal, whereas we fight at 154, fine. I would love to face him. I love to fight him. I think the public would love that. Mainly because Hagler is a superior athlete and without question, one of the greatest middleweights I've seen. He's paid his dues. He was able to get the title, and he's held on to it for a long period of time. The two of us, it would be a natural fight. It would be a fight that would take a great deal of wit, experience, power, speed. It would be a good one.
So Sugar Ray Leonard, 30 Eastern and Pacific, 6:30 Central. So for Larry Merchant, I'm Barry Tompkins saying so long from the Centennial Coliseum in Reno, Nevada. This show was produced by Ross Greenberg. Directed by Mark Payton. The associate producer was Linda Jackson. Assistant to the producer, Rick Bernstein. edition of HBO Sports, the network of champions.
Coming up next, Robert De Niro gives his Oscar-winning portrayal of former middleweight champ Jake LaMotta in Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull. Next.